Hey everyone, welcome back to Political Excess. This time I want to take a look at how I think would be best to solve gerrymandering and to the best extent that it can be solved. I get it, it's a complex and a nuanced issue, but I've been reviewing all the maps on this channel. I hope everyone's enjoyed that and you agree mostly with my assessment. I've tried to do it in an unbiased way, but here's how I think it could be solved. First is establishing a baseline support for each party. I've been looking at the last two cycles statewide popular vote, averaging them out. You could go 3 cycles, you could go 5 to get the last 10 years. Now, of course, beginning to an end of a decade, there could be a variance of support. So once you have that baseline number, you're going to need to compare it to another number for reapportionment for how many seats each party should be favored in. And I would say to keep that number about less than 10 apart. Now, what I mean, let's go through a couple of states here. Now, of course, the more districts you have in your state, the easier it will be to do. If you only have 3 or 4 districts, it can be a little hard to do. But let's go look at some examples. Texas. Now, earlier in the decade, last decade, Republicans did have a lot more support, so that could skew things if you average out the whole decade. But the last 2 cycles, statewide popular vote, Republicans averaged 52% of the vote. And after this new map that's out, they are favored in 63% of the seats about. Now that is over 10%. That's just over. It's about 11. So that would tell me it is a gerrymander. Not horrible, but it's certainly going to have an edge for the Republicans. Another state, Illinois. Last 2 cycles, statewide popular vote, Democrats average 58.5% of the vote. And in this new map, the Democrats have a partisan favor in 82% of the seats. So in an even year, they would have over 82% of the seats. Now that is way over the 10%. Now that tells me it is an egregious gerrymander. So how can we solve that? Well, if you have your state legislator or if you have an independent commission drawing the maps, they would have to keep that, let's say, under 10%. Now, if they can't keep it under 10%, or maybe even if they can, maybe you still want to do it this way, I would have everyone run in at-large districts. Now, I think it's easier to do that nowadays than it would be decades ago. I get it. It's the House. It's supposed to be close to the people, local issues. Each district represents over 760,000 people. But this is a way I think it would reduce the need to have all this hypocrisy and all this brinksmanship on drawing the lines. Everybody runs statewide. You can have your primaries. However many seats your state has, that's how many of the top candidates will win. Sort of like local school board elections where you can win with 22% of the vote, etc. Now, this would help certain states like, let's say, Oklahoma, where Democrats are shut out. This should be able to get them 1 seat. In Massachusetts, where Republicans are shut out, 0 out of 9 seats. This would get them 1 or 2 seats, maybe. And that would actually better reflect the partisan makeup of the state. So that's what I would do. I know you can do other things people suggest. There's the Wyoming rule. That would add more seats. That would probably reduce some of the extreme gerrymandering, but it may create other problems. But that's one idea. Now, the other thing I have to say is I know a lot of people try to factor or not factor in the racial makeup for gerrymandering. Now, personally, me, I'm totally against it. I think that it's all about the views and the voting, not their identity whatsoever. So I know a lot of times some of that affiliation and the race does overlap, but I don't think that can be at all the primary motivator or deciding factor for drawing districts. I know a lot of times the Democrats claim the Republicans try to racially gerrymander, but I think they're doing the exact same thing the Republicans are. They're trying to have political power. That's what it's all about, and that's the bottom line. So it should all be about political affiliation, partisan reflection. So I get it. This is hard to talk about. It's hard to solve. It's just a little bit of what I think could be done. So is this a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Do you have a different idea? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you do enjoy this content, let me know. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.